This is Kajol Jadhav and I am here to explain daily current affairs for UPSC Civil Services exam. The time has come for India to move to the third phase of federalism. What are the structural problems of today's Indian federalism? What can India learn from the world's famous federal constitutions? How did Indian federalism change over the period of time since Republic? What is the way forward for India? GS Paper 2, Functions and Responsibilities of the Union and the States, Issues and Challenges pertaining to the federal structure, devolution of powers and finances up to local levels and challenges therein. In this video, you can find detailed answers for all the above questions. The above article has been retrieved from lifemin.com, dated March 19, 2018. What we are providing here is just a 10% sample out of the full-length video. Visit our website iasvideos.com to join the course and to unlock all videos. We offer this pen drive course cash on delivery on Amazon.in too. Amazon will deliver our course to your doorstep. The Union-State relationship has become one of the core issues ahead of the next general election. However, this climate gives us an opportunity to examine our federalism beyond partisan politics. We are approaching the third phase of federalism since the founding of our republic. Many of our states are larger than 90% of the nations on earth. We need to allow each state to have its own model of governance, bureaucracy, and local governments, but with firm safeguards to preserve national unity, separation of powers, fundamental rights, and democratic accountability. What are the structural problems of today's Indian federalism? Regionalism. Regionalism or love for one's area, despite India's tradition of successful federal rule over the years since independence, still raises its head in different parts of the country. Absence of fiscal federalism. Asymmetrical sharing of revenue and resource crunch at the periphery results in uneven development across the country. Unequal representation of units. In India, there is no such provision of an equal representation of states in the Rajya Sabha, the second chamber, and nor the states have a substantial say over the amendments done to the constitution from time to time. Centralized amendment power. In India, the power of the constitutional amendment lies with the centre under Article 368 and other provisions, although ratification of half of the states is sought for in some limited areas. The states in the Indian Union have virtually no power in this critical area of governance. Office of the Governor. The office of the Governor for each state in India has been a sensitive issue as it sometimes poses a threat to the federal character of Indian Union. Centralized planning. Although economic and social planning is found in the concurrent list of the 7th schedule to the Constitution, the Union government enjoys unbridled authority over national and regional planning in India. Language conflicts. Diversity in languages in India sometimes causes a blow to the federal spirit of the Constitution. There are 22 languages constitutionally approved in India. Besides, hundreds of dialects are spoken across the country. Trouble arises when the strongest unit of the federation attempts to force a particular language on others. What can India learn from the world's famous federal constitutions? In no other democracy does the federal constitution impose a uniform structure, electoral system, and bureaucratic apparatus on states and local governments. Even in small unitary Britain, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and London City have their own electoral systems different from the Westminster model. In the US, each of the 50 states have their own constitutions and structure of the government. In Australia too, each of the 6 states and 2 self-governing territories have their own constitutions. In Germany, every land has its own constitution with the power and flexibility to design its own governance structure. In Canada, The 10 provinces have the right to decide on the electoral system, form of government and local government structure. How did Indian federalism change over the period of time since Republic? Phase 1. The traumatic events surrounding the partition of India and fears of balkanization made our founding fathers opt for a highly centralized union. States were given a well-defined legislative and executive jurisdiction in the 7th schedule of the Constitution. Institutions like the Finance Commission, Election Commission and Supreme Court were created to ensure some degree of fairness in dealing with the states. However, an appointed governor as head of the state with discretionary powers, Article 356, the All India Services Planning Commission, the introduction of license permit quota Raj, and all these eroded the state's powers significantly. Phase 2. In the second phase, powerful leaders like Rama Rao, Ramakrishna Hegde, Jyoti Basu, Biju Patnaik and M. Karunanidhi emerged to rally people around federalism and states' rights. A series of developments, the S.R. Bommai case verdict 1994, making abuse of Article 356 largely a thing of the past, successive Finance Commission, reports on resource transfer, end of license Raj, decline of discretionary public sector investments, rise of regional parties and abolition of Planning Commission helped create a more balanced federal India. What is the way forward for India? The time has come for India to move to the third phase of federalism. Many of our states are larger than 90% of nations on earth. We need to allow each state to have its own model of governance, bureaucracy and local governments, but with firm safeguards to preserve national unity, separation of powers, fundamental rights and democratic accountability. The one-size-fits-all model cannot deliver the desired outcomes of prosperity, elimination of poverty and national greatness in the vast and diverse nation of 1.3 billion people. We need more flexible federalism, strengthening India's unity and integrity and allowing us to fulfill our potential.